Picture this. It's 2 a.m. You can't sleep. Instead of putting on something upbeat to lift your spirits, you reach for that playlist. The one filled with heartbreak ballads, melancholic melodies, and lyrics that could make a stone weep. And somehow, it makes you feel better. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do millions of people actively choose to listen to Adele's Someone Like You after a breakup instead of literally anything happier? Why did Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt become more popular than most party anthems? Today, we're diving into one of psychology's most beautiful contradictions. Why sad songs don't just make us sadder, but somehow make us feel more alive. Here's what doesn't make sense on the surface. We spend most of our lives trying to avoid sadness. We scroll through social media to escape it. We binge Netflix to forget it. We do almost anything to not feel it. But then we deliberately queue up songs that are designed to make us cry. Think about the most streamed songs of all time. The Night We Met, by Lord Huron, 320 million views on YouTube. Billie Eilish's When the Party's Over, over 700 million. These aren't accidents. These aren't flukes. The average person thinks sad music is for sad people. But the extraordinary truth? Happy people listen to sad music just as much, sometimes even more. A study from the University of New South Wales found that people with higher emotional intelligence actually prefer complex emotional experiences, including sadness in music. This isn't masochism. This is something far more profound. The science of sadness. Let me paint you a picture of what happens in your brain when you press play on a sad song. Within milliseconds, your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, recognizes emotional content. But here's where it gets interesting. Unlike real-life sadness, which triggers stress hormones like cortisol, sad music triggers something completely different: prolactin. Prolactin is the same hormone that's released when mothers nurse their babies. It's literally nature's comfort chemical. Your brain is essentially giving you a warm hug while you listen to someone sing about heartbreak. But that's just the beginning. Researchers at Durham University studied over 2,400 people and discovered something remarkable. Sad music doesn't just make us feel sad, it makes us feel a spectrum of emotions: nostalgia, wonder, transcendence, even joy. Imagine your emotions like colors. Daily life usually gives you primary colors: happy, sad, angry, simple, basic. But sad music? It's like switching from a box of 8 crayons to a box of 6-4. Suddenly you're feeling bittersweet melancholy with a hint of hope. You're experiencing nostalgic longing tinged with acceptance. The ordinary person runs from complex emotions. The extraordinary person realizes that these complex emotions are what make us feel most human. The artist who understood. Leonard Cohen once said, "There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." He understood something that most miss. Sadness in music isn't about wallowing, it's about connection. When Beethoven was going deaf, imagine a composer losing his hearing. He didn't write happy ditties to cheer himself up. He wrote the Moonlight Sonata, one of the most hauntingly beautiful pieces ever created. Why? Because he knew that sharing his authentic sadness would connect him to every person who ever felt loss. Or take Frida Kahlo, who painted her pain. Or Van Gogh, who transformed his torment into Starry Night. These weren't acts of depression, they were acts of transformation. Even modern artists get this. When Taylor Swift writes about heartbreak, she's not just processing her own emotions, she's creating a mirror for millions of listeners to see their own experiences reflected back. The weak artist tries to hide their pain. The strong artist transforms it into something universal. The catharsis effect. Here's something nobody talks about. We live in a world that's allergic to negative emotions. Feel sad? Cheer up. Feel anxious? Just relax. Feel heartbroken? You'll get over it. But sad music? Sad music says something different. It says, feel it, all of it, it's okay. Aristotle called this catharsis, the purging of emotions through art. He noticed that Greek tragedies didn't make audiences depressed. They made them feel cleansed. Think about the last time you had a good cry to a sad song. You didn't feel worse afterward, did you? You felt lighter. like you'd release something that was stuck. It's emotional exercise. Just like your muscles need resistance to grow stronger, your emotional resilience needs to process difficult feelings to develop. Sad songs are like a gym for your feelings, a safe space to practice experiencing and releasing emotion without real-world consequences. The nostalgia machine. But there's another layer most people miss entirely. Sad songs are time machines. When you listen to Mad World by Gary Jules, you're not just hearing a sad song. You're remembering the first time you heard it, who you were with, what you were going through, the person you used to be. Psychologists call this autobiographical memory, and sad songs are particularly powerful triggers for it. Why? Because we remember emotional moments more vividly than neutral ones. The ordinary person thinks nostalgia is about missing the past, but the extraordinary person understands that nostalgia is about integrating the past. It's about acknowledging that every version of you, the heartbroken one, the lost one, the confused one, they all led to who you are now. When you listen to that song that reminds you of your ex, you're not just torturing yourself. You're acknowledging that the pain was real, the love was real, and that both shaped you. The shared humanity. Here's the ultimate truth about sad songs. They make us feel less alone. When Sam Smith sings about unrequited love, millions of people think, yes, exactly, someone gets it. In a world where everyone's Instagram is perfect and everyone's LinkedIn is successful, sad songs are one of the few places where vulnerability still exists publicly. Think about it. Where else in modern society do we collectively admit to feeling lost, heartbroken, or uncertain? Where else do millions of people simultaneously acknowledge that life can be hard? A study from Freie Universität Berlin found that people who regularly listen to sad music score higher on empathy tests. It's not that sad people are more empathetic, it's that experiencing emotional complexity through music literally makes us better at understanding others. The average person uses music to escape reality. The evolved person uses music to understand reality and their place in it. The Japanese have a word. The Japanese have a concept called mono no aware, the bittersweet awareness of the impermanence of all things. It's not quite sadness. It's not quite joy. It's the feeling you get watching cherry blossoms fall, knowing their beauty is temporary. It's appreciating something because it won't last forever. This is what sad songs give us, a safe space to experience mono no aware, to feel the weight of existence without being crushed by it. When Radiohead sings "No Surprises," they're not telling you life is meaningless. They're acknowledging that life is heavy, and that acknowledging the weight somehow makes it easier to carry. So here's the real question. What kind of emotional life do you want to live? You can choose the shallow end, stick to happy songs, positive vibes only, never acknowledge the depths. There's nothing wrong with that. It's safe. It's comfortable. Or you can choose the full spectrum. You can recognize that sadness isn't the opposite of happiness, it's a companion to it. That feeling deeply, even when it hurts, is what makes the good moments transcendent. The person who's never cried to Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah has never really heard it. The person who's never let Bon Iver's Skinny Love break their heart has missed one of music's greatest gifts. Sad songs aren't about being sad. They're about being human. They're about acknowledging that life is complex, that emotions are messy, and that sometimes the most beautiful things come from the darkest places. The next time you cue up that sad song at 2 a.m., remember, you're not wallowing. You're not weak. You're doing something profoundly human. You're choosing to feel, to process, to connect with the millions of others who felt exactly the same way. You're choosing to be whole. So I want to know, what's the sad song that hits you every single time? The one that makes you feel everything? Drop it in the comments below. Let's create the ultimate playlist of beautiful sadness together. Because if we're going to feel it, we might as well feel it together.